It's the glasses, really. It's the glasses. Jolting awake, you find yourself in a rather familiar forest. Though you can't quite put your finger on as to why it was familiar. Sitting up from the damp dirt, you check yourself and find that you were still dressed in your usual clothes you wore for work, as well as the fact that you still had your glasses, wallet, and phone. You try to get a better look around, though all you could see were rows and rows of tall trees. However, you did notice that you were on some kind of dirt road that you assumed would lead out of this sort of forest. So, getting up on your feet, you were off onto who knows where. As you walked, you noticed that it appeared as though the green of the grass and leaves brightened a bit in color the further out you went. You also noticed how the whole forest seemed to get brighter with sunlight the more and more you walked the trail. Eventually, you managed to peak a hill the road had led you to, and in the very near distance, you could see a rather interesting medieval-looking town. Instantly, you feel a perk in your step as you pick up the pace towards the town, hoping that you might be able to get some answers from whoever lived there. However, as you approached, you finally noticed something you probably should have noticed a while up on the hill, and that was the fact that there weren't any people around. However, there were small, colorful horses. It was at that point you had finally realized why this all seemed so familiar. Memories flooded into your mind of a certain show you used to watch all that time ago, a show called My Little Pony. You had to admit you felt a little giddy at the thought you were in a world of one of the shows you had liked. But then you remembered something, and that was the fact that these ponies were rather skittish, if memory served correctly, and they'd likely be terrified of you. An unknown creature that emerged directly from the evil forest. If you remember right, you think they called it the Everfall Forest? Everfree? It doesn't matter. When you realized this, you thought to yourself that you should turn around now before one of them spotted you. But sadly, your body was on autopilot while you had slipped into your thoughts. As soon as you snapped back to reality, you noticed you were practically in the center of town, right by a nice-looking fountain and a few ponies. Looking around, you noted how some glanced your way, and each one that looked upon you went wide-eyed, and then seemed to calm down quickly and go about their day. Odd. You think at least one of them would shout monster or something like that. You looked around, confused. Every one of them just went about their day, even after they saw you. You decided to get some answers, but you felt pretty nervous to just walk up to one of these ponies. Looking around, you spotted one that looked familiar to you, though. A lavender-colored pony with a 3-toned purple mane. If you remembered correctly, that was Twilight Sprunkle? No. Wait, no, that was Sparkle. That's her name. She stood amongst the group of ponies by the fountain, and since you remembered her being rather calm and collected, when compared to other characters, you decided that you'll ask her as to what's going on. Tentatively walking up to her, you clear your throat and caught her attention. She turned around, and you saw her pupils shrink into pinpricks before quickly returning to normal size a second later. She sighed.
Phew, you scared me there for a second. Hi, I don't think I've seen you in Ponyville before. Are you new here?
You stare at her for a second before sighing in relief yourself. Not because she wasn't afraid of you, but because you only then realized the fact that they might not have spoken English in this world. Though you suppose that her not being afraid of you was also a plus. Yeah, I'm new here. You fiddle with your thumbs as you try to fight your nerves.
Oh, well then allow me to welcome you to Ponyville. My name is Twilight Sparkle. It's nice to meet you.
You proceeded to tell her your name.
So, what brings you to Ponyville?
You let out a small chuckle before responding. Actually, I was hoping to get some answers. You look around the town as you spoke, your eyes wandering. If I'm being honest, I wasn't expecting to end up here. Though I guess there could have been worse places to end up in. Twilight nodded.
Well, if you want to learn about something, Ponyville has a rather excellent library in my opinion. I and my assistant Spike, a baby dragon you might find wandering around, lives there and keeps things in order. I'm sure you can find the answer you're looking for there.
She stated quite proudly, which was rather cute in a way. Actually, I wanted to ask you a question, and I don't think a book will have the answer for what it is. At that, Twilight tilted her head and raised a brow before smiling and nodding.
Of course. I'm always happy to help ponies learn things. What's your question?
Fidgeting a bit more by rubbing your arm awkwardly, you finally ask the question that's been stuck in your head. Well, I know this might sound silly to ask, but why aren't any of you afraid of me? Twilight looked pretty confused.
Why would we be afraid of you?
Well, I just walked out of that forest over there, and I doubt there's any other humans like me around here, so I don't know. I thought you'd all run around screaming about me being a forest monster or something like that. Surprisingly, Twilight started chuckling when you finished talking. And now it was your turn to be confused. What's so funny? Your fidgeting increased as you started to feel embarrassed thanks to all the ponies who turned their attention towards the two of you. Slowly, her chuckle slowed to a stop.
Sorry. It's just that your question was rather silly. I mean, after all, you look rather harmless with your glasses and all.
My glasses?
Yeah, your glasses. I mean, what kind of everfree monster wears glasses?
She snorted at the thought. You remove your glasses from your face, and everything blurred. But you tried to squint and see if there was anything on your glasses that looked silly enough to make you not threatening, but found nothing out of the ordinary. Raising a brow, you squinted your eyes, looking back at Twilight, her form barely visible through the blur. Twilight chuckled again.
Sorry. I don't mean to laugh at you, but you look pretty silly with your eyes like that.
You felt your cheeks warm up as you realized how dumb you might have looked. Oh wait, so what you're saying is that because I'm wearing glasses, none of you are scared of me? You asked, as you put your glasses back on your face, and Twilight simply nodded.
Pretty much, I suppose.
She was about to say more before someone else called out to her.
Yo, Twilight, I need your help with something.
A cyan pony with a rainbow-colored mane shouted from above, and you saw her descend down towards the two of you. She noticed you, and simply nodded.
Sup?
You just nodded back, dumbstruck at how casual she was being. Out of all the ponies, you thought that the rainbow one, you think your name was Rainbow Dash, would be the one ponies who'd try to pick a fight with you. Twilight sighed and turned to her friend.
What do you need help with, Dash? I need your brain for a sec. I'm trying to help Scoots build this sick ramp, but it keeps breaking. So I thought you might be able to help?
She sheepishly said. Twilight just rolled her eyes.
Sure, I have some time to spare, I guess.
She turned towards you.
Sorry that we have to cut our conversation so short, but it was nice to meet you, though.
She smiled, and you couldn't help but smile back. This had all gone rather smoothly, surprisingly enough. You stood there, as you watched the two ponies wander off to wherever they were going, and once they were out of your view, you just shrugged and sat on the rim of the fountain. You still had a ton of questions, but there was one that really nagged at you. One that you now realized should have been your first question instead of, why is no one scared of me? That question being, why the hell are you in Equestria? Oh man, comment down below if you have glasses. Ah man, people with glasses are just so friendly. Anyways, let's get on to our sweet donators. Top donators, Jessie Smith, Star630, BadassWaffle, Only One Thing, Ceru, Orion, and IronSky. Metric 109, JockeTF, Rayden, Narwhals, Blackmoonheart, Pastel, Sky, Sauce, Rolan, Stu, Hexor, Brother Mordred, Omicron, Lyra, Rinside 9852, Will, Chris, Twinkie, Rysel, Shadowmoon, Luigi 88, Chance Request, Big Smoke 369, Bobcat, GGF, Murder Princess, and many more amazing people. Thank you all so much for watching this video and love life to the fullest.